Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 149 of the Crusty podcast of the election 2021. Same old, just a different pile. All that and more come up in the show. Please stick around, and listener discretion is advised.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 149 of the Crusty Canuck podcast, the election 2021. Same old shit, just a different pile. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and welcome back, everybody. Yes, it's been about a month and 3 days since my last podcast, and I've missed you all, honestly. I've missed all of you, my wonderful fans and listeners out there. And, well, it's been an adventure. Yes, I myself, Crusty Canuck, John Irwin, was running in the federal election under the Veterans Coalition Party banner. And in my area, I received 171 votes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 171 votes. Yeah, pretty impressive, eh? Outstanding. Thank you very much. And with that experience comes a lot of humbling. It's a humbling experience, to say the least. I funded my campaign with some of my savings, what's left of them. And I made signs, made brochures, made some flyers. I had a couple of volunteers step up and give me a hand when they could. And I had others say that, oh, yeah, I'll help you out, Crusty. I'll help you out. And a lot of no-shows. So that gives me a lesson right then and there, too. One of the other lessons I've learned in this campaign is how people really look up to a lot of these leaders. You know, it's more or less redefined. And I've said numerous times in the show, ladies and gentlemen, that, we got to stop treating these leaders like they're gods. Okay? We got to stop treating these politicians like they're gods, like they know it all, because they don't. They don't. Now, don't get me wrong. My competitors in this riding in Battle River Crowfoot, Damien, Tanya, Dennis, Daniel, Jeff, and the Liberal incumbent who didn't show up, Laura. Needless to say, we had a pretty good discussion on things and policies, on mental health, on the environment, on money. But I'll redefine this. Every politician that ran in this election is representing the party. Okay. Now, a lot of this episode is off the cuff based on my experiences with the election, based on what I've projected before, what I've asked you, what you've said to me in response, all that good stuff. And I've only seen these leaders represent the party, not represent the constituents as it should. Okay, as they should, per se. Okay, I took it upon myself, and based on the discussions I had with other members of the Veterans Coalition Party, that we have to represent the riding, regardless to where you are, regardless to populist or not. You have to represent the riding, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it comes down to. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're with this party or that party, or you're with this group or that group. You have to represent the riding, the people within. Okay. Now, my wife and I, we were glued to the TV set Monday evening just to watch the buffoonery. The utmost effing buffoonery when it comes to how people are elected in this country. And of course, as always, the GTA, that big 905 area that every politician strategizes to get involved in, what have you. Okay. They take the cake again, right? Now, CTV and CBC are both guilty for automatically assuming that the Liberals were going to win. Okay. Now, this first past the post BS they tried to promote back in 2015, they obviously didn't do anything about it because they rely on that to get ahead. So once the Liberals achieved 130 seats in Parliament, all of a sudden it's assumed they won, they got the minority. Okay, without counting the other votes from the other side of the country. And we saw it as plain as day on color TV, as plain as day. Okay, this is how it's going to roll. So, like I said, I received 171 votes, ladies and gentlemen. That's 171 people that agreed with what I had to say, that wanted me to go to Parliament because they voted for me. And to me, that's a pretty good thing. That's 171 strangers who said, yes, Crusty Canuck, we believe in what you got to do. We believe in your platform. There you go. And to me, that's great. You know, I wasn't expecting to win. I wasn't expecting to get 20,000 votes or 40,000 votes, but I was expecting something, and I did. And I'm grateful for that. And I want to thank everybody in the Battle River Crowfoot for giving me that opportunity. Now, because we have a minority government yet again, possibility of an election coming in another 18 months to 2 years is inevitable, right? So, but now that we have a minority government, now, based on the last stats I saw on CBC, of all places, the Liberals only have 151 or 152 seats. So they've lost a few based on mail-in ballots, okay? And that's what gets me too. There's a few mail-in ballots that are still waiting to be counted. I think they have until Friday, tomorrow, I believe. Anyhow, needless to say, we got another minority government, more buffoonery, more chaos, more BS. Now, I wonder with this minority government, are they going to keep promoting the C10 mandate and the C36 mandate? Are they going to keep promoting the censorship issue? Are they going to keep plugging the whole anti-gun issue? Are they still going to incorporate fear into your minds and your hearts, ladies and gentlemen? Time will tell. We'll have to see. But based on my experience out there for the better part of a month, getting signatures, talking to people, promoting our campaign, promoting our platforms, promoting common sense, blue collar basics that we need back in Parliament again, the majority of Canadians still voted for the Liberal mandate. Okay. So to my listeners out there in the GTA and area, now I personally don't care who you voted for. You vote for who you think the better person is. But when you actually look at what the Liberals have done to this country, okay, they've put us into debt. They've made us a laughingstock with our NATO allies and other allies, respectively. Okay. They basically put together the principle of gender parity, which means we have to give jobs to certain people because of their gender and because of their color and their beliefs, whatever, not based on merit. And they've also instilled quite a bit of fear into the average Canadian in regards to gun ownership, in regards to vaccinations and non-vaccinations, towards compliance, and towards how we look at the world. Okay. Now, when you summarize all of the efforts that the Liberal Party has made in the past 6 years, remind me what achievements they've come across. Now, I've had numerous people weigh in on my Crusty Canuck page on Facebook and my community page on YouTube and sent me emails in regards to how I should show more loyalty to said Liberal Party, how I should show more respect to such the great achievements of these elected officials. What achievements? What kind of achievement do you need? What kind of qualification do you need to rip Canadians off, to lie to them about carbon taxes, to lie to them about everything in general, and to constantly promote a racial divide? You tell me.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And that's what gets me too, because I did 4 forums during my my quest for a seat in Parliament. Okay, I did one in Stettler, I did one in Drumheller, Camrose, and in Oyen, and every one of those platforms we received some really great positive influence, some great admiration. And a lot of people pat me in the back, shake my hand. Thank you for your service. Thank you for standing up for doing what you want to do. We appreciate what you have to say, and that's great. That's great. And I did all of that at my own expense, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. There were no donations coming to our party. We managed to get a few $100s here and there for some candidates, for some people. But all in all, it come down to my own personal expense. I had the signs made. I had the brochures made. I had the flyers made. And I basically went out and did the old college try, my own personal elbow grease and intestinal fortitude, and I handed out a lot of these flyers, and I knocked on doors, and I talked to people. And interesting enough, a lot of people were very responsive and quite the positive feedback. And what this election taught me too is that people still crave the blue collar basics. People that still want common sense brought to Parliament. But there's a majority of people that just didn't really care. And there was abundance of people out there that didn't really vote either. Okay. Now, I've been involved in conversations where people want to vote, but they don't know who to vote for, what they believe in. They don't like this party, like this guy. They don't like this party, but they like this girl. They don't like this girl, but they like the party. And, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. So I'd like to remind my listeners and viewers out there too, that in the parliamentary system, it's about the person representing you, not the party. Okay. So if they do call another election in 18 months or 2 years, because Justin didn't get his majority and his feelings were hurt because people didn't buy a lot of his BS, but he still got elected. We have to get back to that, ladies and gentlemen. We have to get back to that simple thing of understanding what the parliamentarian should be doing for you. Now, it doesn't matter if you come from a riding of 20,000 people or 25,000 people or 200,000 people, or like my riding, 110,000 people with a voter base of 80,000 plus. I highly recommend people get out there and vote. Okay. You really should get out there in the world and vote. Okay. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for or what you should vote for. Okay. But that little tick in the box, that little X you put in that ballot, that speaks volumes. Okay. That speaks numerous volumes when it comes to who you want representing you. Okay. And all I can say is that hopefully if they do call another election, in 2 years' time, because they most likely will, because in the history of this country, I have not seen a minority government last any more than 2 years or 2.5 years for that matter. So something to think about. And when you look at the price tag of this election, $610 million, that was the overall projection of what it cost Canadian taxpayer. That $610 million could have gone to the seniors increases. That could have gone to cleaner water. That could have gone to better investigations and creation when it comes to the green tech they keep talking about, right? That could have helped a lot of people out in these trying times, right? And when you watch all the ads that were on, the anti-liberal ad, the anti-conservative ad, Jagmeet Singh sitting in his shower talking about voting NDP because, we'll do this for you. It's always a slap and tickle. It's almost like bribery. All right. So if this election has taught me anything, you got to stand by your morals and your scruples. Right. And during the forums, I called out all the candidates and representing the party's interests rather than the interests of the people. And that's what you should do as a parliamentarian. And I will take that to my grave, ladies and gentlemen. Right. It doesn't matter what party you're with. You got to represent the people in your riding to the best of your ability. And we've had lots of points back and forth, myself and the other candidates, in regards to healthcare, mental awareness, mental health care, the environment. Yeah, we all had points and we all bantered back and forth. But there's one thing I did notice through all the parties, though. They didn't really talk about their constituents. They didn't talk about love of nation. Okay. They talk about what the party platform was. They didn't talk about what their platform was towards the people, but what their party platform was. Now, there are some good points, I would say. Mental health is an issue. And I would say this past year and a half, it's been a real issue for a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the suicide rates and the opioid crisis that has been incurred in this province alone. And yet the federal government ignored it. Now, I will say hats off to my NDP compatriot there, Tanya. Well done, madam, on your efforts, and I really liked her platform when it comes to understanding mental awareness. I don't agree with the NDP platform where it means taking more money out of your pocket, because Jagmeet Singh's little plan was going to cost the Canadian taxpayer $214 billion. And of course, he thought he was going to get all that cash from those so-called 40 billionaires in this country, when in reality, it's just going to up the ante on your taxes and everything that we enjoy dearly in this country. And when I look at Aaron Toole's platform, getting 1 million people back to work, well, that's great. But getting back to work where exactly, Aaron? Okay. And again, what was your stance on C10, C36, and the guns in this country? And of course, the Liberal platform, we're going to take more of your money to create better things. And yet we're not going to let the oil flow. We're not going to let our resources flow. No, we're just going to keep it stagnant, and hopefully the taxpayer will foot the effing bill. So basically, since 2019, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at square one again. More debt, more racial divide that was incurred by the government, not by the people. and more divide when it comes to vaccines. Because when you see all the protests leading up to this past federal election, you've got all three parties talking about vaxxers and anti-vaxxers. How about people that want to end the BS? How about call them protesters because they're sick and tired of being told what to think, what to do, what to put in their face, and what to put in their bodies, right? And I have personally talked to some of those individuals that are at these freedom rallies, and there are quite a few of them have their double vaccinations. And yet they're still being told what line to walk, what to think, what to do, right? And now there's an abundance of people actually getting sick, even though they've had their 2 shots like they were told to. Because a few months ago, if you don't remember, they're saying we have to get everybody up to 70% or more inoculated to make this a little more liberal, to make this a little more liberating for us all, so we can open up more and let people be free again. And yet now there's 70 odd percent people that are vaccinated, but then people are still getting sick, and then people are still getting hurt. And then there's still an abundance of this. And then all of a sudden it's because of the 380,000 people in Alberta that are not inoculated yet. Oh, well, it's their fault. Is that leadership? Well, it doesn't matter what party you voted for. It doesn't matter who's the premier here or who the prime minister is. They're all proving they really don't give a shit.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Yes, coming back at you, the Crusty Podcast, episode 149, election 2021. Same shit, just a different pile. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a little promotion here right now, too. At this moment, I'm going to start taking donations. Yes. A little promotion I'm working on here at Crusty Podcast. If you donate $10 or more per month, you will be entered to win this mug, postage paid. Meaning, let's say if you donate to my Patreon page and Podbean, and you give $10 a month, you are automatically entered to win this mug, or a similar mug. It comes in black too, so you get yourself a Crusty Canuck mug if you donate $10 or more. If you donate $5 per month, right, you will be entered in a draw to win the Crusty Canuck T-shirt. That's the standard black T-shirt, Crusty Canuck Podcast, with the famous motto on the back: "Humanity Merit wins the day." So please consider, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see the link in my description, plus here on the picture too. Donate $5 or $10 a month to the Patreon page of my Podbean, and you'll be entered to win. So first draw will be the 30th of October. So please consider donating today and win yourself some good Crusty Canuck swagger. And if you don't want to do that, please check out my Custom My Girls page if you want to get some Crusty Canuck swagger at your own leisure too. Links will be in the description as per. But yeah, this campaign has taken its toll on me financially. So if you can find the goodness in your heart to donate to me on a regular basis, that would be much appreciated too. You can reach me at PayPal, Comcast, as well as at the bottom of your screen there, Patreon, Podbean too. Please consider doing the $5 or $10 donation to win yourself a T-shirt or a mug. And like I say, the first draw will be on the 30th of October. So if you do donate the $5 or $10 issue, please put your email and your initials on your donation. So that way, if I do draw, I can draw you and you get yourself a nice prize. So keep that in mind. And please also, you can follow me too on Rumble, Brighton, and Wimkin as well on all your social media platforms. And if you do like and hear what you see, please click like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep the algorithm going in our favor for a change. And share this podcast around with your family and friends too. Just help us young folk, help us independent guys out here to get our word out. So, but in the meantime, if you do want to donate, do it at my webpage there too, Crusty Canuck /donations. And we can go from there. Anyway, carrying on, ladies and gentlemen, with more of the election blunder. That's right. What a blunder it was. So basically, in 2019, the Liberals had 158 seats. Now they're down to 151. They still hold a minority government. However, there's no real change. Now, one good thing about what happened to the Liberals is that Mary Monsef, or Mariam Monsef, whatever her name is, because she can't remember where she was born exactly, lost her seat in the Peterborough-Kawartha riding. I think that had a lot to do with the fact that she called the Taliban her brothers. And we've all seen that on national news and CTV, CBC, Global alike, how she pleaded with the Taliban brothers to let people go and have their freedom and all that too. So it serves her right, ladies and gentlemen, because by that statement that she made to the national audience, it made my job and the job of my brothers and sisters who fought and served over there, and to some of our men and women that died over there, it made it look like a mockery. So not only was she insulting to the service and the loyalty that our men and women gave to that country to help the less fortunate in that country out, it was a slap in the face to everything that we have done. That's the way I look at it. What say you? Let me know in the comments if you can. But it's good to see that there's some humble pie out there for a few individuals to take a bite out of. Anyway, carrying on again too. This election has taught me patience is still a virtue. Understanding is a great virtue, and representing the people of the utmost is the utmost virtue, I would say. When you look at our parliamentary system, when we have these ridings, I would admit that there's not fair representation, especially when it comes to the more populated areas, i.e. like Ontario and Quebec, especially around the GTA and the greater Montreal areas too. What gets me though is when I was watching the national debates, I actually watched the French version and I watched the English version too. And what gets me, why was there two French versions and only one English version? Right? It should be 2 for 2. And as much as I disagree with some of the PPC policies, I think Max should have had a fair chance on being there as well. Okay. Because here's a guy who organized a party from the ground up. And regardless of how some of my fans feel about it or not, he still should have had the opportunity to be there to present his case. Any political leader for that matter. Now, as far as I know, the PPC received 800,000 plus votes Canada-wide, and yet still didn't get a seat. They actually had more votes for the PPC than the Greens ever did, yet the Greens gained a seat. So that's, oh, fuck. Pardon my French, but still just weird, right? Now, the candidate in this area that was running for the PPC banner, nice guy, you know, and all the people that I ran against were downright decent human beings, regardless if we agreed on these policies or not. But I was a firm believer saying, you know, Max should have had a chance to be there at the English debate. He should have, you know. Anna May Paul had her chance, and, you know, and as well articulate as she was, she still pulled the race card out. Okay. So did Jagmeet Singh. And when I hear a politician or see a politician do that, I honestly lose interest, because I personally don't judge anybody based on their gender or color of skin. I base people on their actions and how they treat others. Okay. And it doesn't faze me that she's black. It doesn't faze me that she's Jewish. I could care less. What I care about is that if she's there representing her riding, representing her morals and her beliefs in the name of her party and what she wants to do. But regardless of how she was sparring with Mr. Blanchet or not, or how she was sparring with the other guys, I didn't find her as genuine as a lot of people said. Right. And what gets me is that there's still infighting within the Green Party about her status and where she stands, where certain other members stand, like regardless. And that shouldn't be a thing. There should be some issues there sorted out right away. And if you didn't want her as your leader, then why'd you elect her? That's simple. And if it was such a big deal to have her on the national debates, why couldn't you have Max in there too? Okay. Why couldn't you have all those leaders sparring back and forth? I could see Max Bernier tuning in Yves Blanchet pretty well when it comes to separation and favorites that have to be given to La Belle Provence all the time in regards to oil and resources and how it should be catered to. But in the same sense, there should be favorites picked in all ridings. People should have the voice and representation there. And I personally don't feel there's quite a bit of representation there in those debates. It was a real poop show. I thought it was a real farce. I thought it was a mockery. You know, my wife was sitting there watching it, and we're kind of looking at each other going, what? What is this? She said, what? He said, what? What? Like, it just, I don't know. I don't think the points were made clear enough. And I really think it was just put together in the name of political correctness rather than political integrity and honesty. Now, tell me what you think.
Stay updated. And follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And once again, folks, please take advantage of my mug offer and my t-shirt offer too, please. Links will be in the description. I'd understand there too. If you have any questions in regards to that, please send me an email. You can find me at crustybcanuck67@gmail.com. Right? So please take advantage of that. Like I say, $10 a month gets you an automatic entry into winning a free mug. That's right. And $5 a month gives you an automatic entry into winning a free t-shirt from my Crusty Canuck shop at Customized Girl. Or if you want, just check out my shop at Customized Girl. Link will be in the description. I got t-shirts, hats, mugs, swimsuits, buttons, other paraphernalia for you to choose from. Get yourself some Crusty Canuck swagger today. Anyway, carrying on. This past election has taught me a lot in regards to working for people, helping people out, doing what you can, right? A lot of common sense politics we're not seeing today. All right. Now in the news, of course, there's 4 individuals that are under the scrutiny of the RCMP that have been arrested for fraudulent charges. Now, was that set up because the election's over, or the RCMP actually taking the initiative to do something about this problem? Okay. And we all know what Justin Trudeau did with the SNC Lavalin. Let's look after these little guys first before we look after the whole country, right? Because there's lots of slaps and tickles going around helping each other out. But I think it's good. I think it's progressing. I'll leave links in the description for you guys to read along with and decide for yourselves, as you should. But I think there might be some higher investigations in the works as we think, or as we speak too, pardon my expression. And there's also a candidate from the federal Conservatives looking into the integrity of Mr. O'Toole as well too. I'll leave a link in the description of that. But when I read, it's basically putting Mr. O'Toole on the spot. Now, I used to think Mr. O'Toole had what it took to get things done for the Conservative Party. Maybe because it was a bias towards the fact that he was a vet as much as I am, that he had a military background. He understood things. He was blue collar based. He come from some humble beginnings, you know. But after watching his efforts in the federal election, he kind of sidestepped quite a bit. He sidestepped when it came to the gun issue. One minute he's saying he's not going to enforce the OIC. And then he says he's going to leave it alone, leave it as is. So which is it? Right. And I had a little talk with Damien Carrick, the rep in this area. Congratulations again, Damien, on your victory. But I had a little talk with him when it came to pay raises and what happened. Now, he confirmed to me that a lot of the Conservatives were against the pay raise. They voted it down. Okay. But I also reminded him too that you guys still took it. Right. And there were 2 pay raises that happened last April 1st in 2020 and this past April 1st, 2021. So regardless of how you feel about it or whether you vote against it or not, there's still quite a bit of individuals that okayed it and took it, while other Canadians were hunting and losing their jobs and trying to keep their businesses open. That's something that I would expect the Canadian taxpayer to take personally. Okay. Now, granted, yes, some of these politicians do give to charities. But how much? How much would you give to charities? How much? When you're making an average of $10,000 or more a month, how much do you give to charities? Okay. The average MP gets paid $183,000 a year, right? $183,000 a year. So that's what, $15,000 a month, $17,000 a month that you take home. So every 2 weeks, you take home $9,000 or more every 2 weeks. Something to think about, right? Now, I wasn't running in the federal campaign to earn the big money. I was running the federal campaign to represent people as they should. Blue collar basics talking to blue collar folk, right? Platform is simple. I wanted you to keep your money. I wanted seniors to get a boost. I wanted our veterans to get a boost. And I wanted our military to be upgraded. And I wanted to see farmers and manufacturers and oil workers get ahead as they should. But unfortunately, they voted again for the same old thing because of comfort. I'm not blaming the voters out there, but next election, I think we can do better. And not just for my sake, but for other people's sake too that want to make a difference. And to my friends in Ontario and Quebec, why? Why the Liberals again? Because it's comfortable? Because of freebies? right? I'd like to remind those individuals too, that those freebies come from tax dollars. And in order to retain said tax dollars, people have to be working, right? People have to be working. So to these individuals that believed and bought the whole $10 a day childcare mantra, think about it for a second, right? People have to work in order to have a childcare service, right? If people aren't working, then what sense is of having a childcare thing? Hmm? And if there's no viable plan to get people back working, you could all say, well, we're going to put 1 million people to work. Great. Where? Energy sector, resource sector, retail sector, private sector, government sector again? Going to create more government jobs? They're going to be more reliant on the taxpayer, right? So I looked at the plans and the platforms of all these parties. Yeah, they all talked a good game, but they all fucking failed to lace up.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm working on getting some better live streams on the work going too. This past month has taught me too that Sunday fastball is going to be no more. That's right. Sunday fastball saw its last episode a few weeks back. Unfortunately, it's just Sundays now will be dedicated to my home life. But there will be another live stream in the works. I'm not sure if it's going to fastball or Thursday's fastball with Crusty Canuck. Anyhow, I will do a once a week live stream again, just working on the format and who's available for that too. I'm going to bring back some of the old panel like Elle, Fred, Adam, and hopefully some others too. And I'm going to be working on talking to some more politicians in the next couple of weeks. I got something in the works with the leader of the Wild Rose Party here in Alberta, Paul Hynum, or Hinham, I think his name is. Anyway, I talked to him briefly yesterday on cell phone there, just talking ideas, talking shop, what have you. So hopefully he'll be a guest on my next live stream. We'll get that sorted out, and I'll keep you posted on the YouTube page and the Facebook page, respectively, too. And like I say, folks, please share this around to all your social media platforms, too. Let's get rid of this censorship algorithm and create our own. That way we can get our own voices out there so people can read and listen and enjoy at their leisure, right? Like I've said, this election has taught me some wonderful things too. And not too many of these guys talked about censorship either. Now, mind you, though, too, the moderators of said forums didn't really talk too much about censorship. And there weren't too many questions that came in regards to Bill C-10 and C-36, which kind of stirred me up a bit too. But needless to say, I was there to represent our party and what our platforms were in regards to looking after the Canadian people, the taxpayer. So I guess that wasn't on people's minds. But needless to say, with this minority government, who are we going to trust, right? Who are we going to trust when it comes to what we see online, what we do online? Are the Liberals going to enforce this once they get their off their asses and back to work? Right? Are they going to enforce C-10, even though it did pass the Senate? But are they going to try to reiterate it? Are they going to reintroduce it? Are they going to put C-36 through and tell us what we can see and what we can read and what we can say online? You know, even Mr. Yagmeet Singh, Mr. NDP leader, Mr. Kumbaya drum circle guy, who drives a BMW and takes advantage of airplanes and cars like the rest of us, right? He's a firm believer in censoring what's online too. And Mr. Blanchet was more willing to help Justin Trudeau the first time it was read in the House of Commons. So we got to really think about this too. Who's going to be backing up Justin Trudeau's ridiculous mandates and who isn't, right? So that's something that's going to happen in the future, hopefully too. But I, for one, I'm not going to tolerate it. And neither should you, ladies and gentlemen, because you have every right to see and hear and do what you want when it comes to online life, you know. And I can generally say that most Canadians, no, we're not bigoted, we're not racist, we're not stupid. We just want to do our own thing. And government should stay the F out of it, period. But once again, I remind you too, please take advantage of my $10 mug giveaway and my $5 t-shirt giveaway. You donate $5 a month, you will be entered in a draw to win a free t-shirt. And if you donate $10 a month, you'll be entered in a draw to win a free coffee mug from the Crusty Canuck shop at Customized Girl. So please consider that today, ladies and gentlemen. Links will be in the description. And carrying on again with more of this election. If this taught us anything, it goes to prove too how much the government has wasted when it comes to taxpayer dollars. Once again, right? $610 million. $610 million for what? Right? I can honestly say about 1,000 plus went to my campaign with gasoline, meals, getting signs made, all that good stuff. And that hurt me a bit. So that's why I keep emphasizing, folks, please donate if you can too. I like to get an abundance of people to donate at least once a month so I can generate some steady income. And it's not like I'm not working for it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to beg for coin. That's up to you, the listener and the viewer. Like, if you want to donate, donate. If not, that's fine too. But it would really help me out a great deal if I could get, let's say, maybe 25 people to help me along the way. A base of 25 people to donate every month, especially on my Podbean account too, because it's easier to access the funds. There's no paperwork, and it makes it just that much easier too. So please consider donating if you can, ladies and gentlemen. Like I say, I'll leave the link up here at the bottom of the screen. Donate what you can at my patreon.podbean.com/Crusty Canuck. And please, and use the $10 and the $5 entry in regards to the coffee mug and the t-shirt. You won't be disappointed, So that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Help us little folk out as best you can. And I remind you too, if you like to hear what you see, please find me on Rumble, Brighton, and Wimkin too. I'm working on my Patreon to get that sorted out. I've had some issues with that before, but I'll get that up and running again too. And I was on Getter. I don't know what's the problem with that. I've tried to sign in, change my password and everything too. For some reason, I cannot get on Getter anymore. But I'm also looking at other options as well too. But in the meantime, you can check me out on YouTube, Facebook, Brighton, Wimkin, and Rumble in the meantime. So, like I say, if you like to hear what you see, please like, subscribe, and comment, and share this all around your social media platforms, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this brings me to the point of the episode, and I know some of you have missed it because I've had some emails from some people. Crusty Canuck, we're going to bring back the polar vortex of bullshit. Well, like the old 80s TV show, you've asked for it. So, on this episode's version of the polar vortex of, or correction, the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
The Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
Well, the recipient of the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit this week for this episode is, wait for it. Well, it's kind of hard to say because I'm part of it too. I would say the recipient of the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit is none other than all the participants, including myself, in this past election. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I jumped the gun. I wanted to represent and fight the good fight for people, as any Canadian should. However, I think the timing was way off, and I think the priorities are way off on those winners and the leaders alike. So there you have it. The winner of the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit is none other than everyone who ran in the Canadian election, including myself. There, I just beat myself up. Here I'm going to self-flagellate. Mea culpa. I'm such, But, my heart was in the right place. But Canadian polar vortex of bullshit is the 2021 election.
The Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not saying I didn't do a good job. I think I did pretty good, and I won hearts and minds to the best of my ability. However, nothing has been ventured and nothing has been gained. A few seats have come and gone. However, there's some SNC investigations going on as we speak. Who knows what other kettle of worms is going to hit the floor and people are going to be losing their jobs. But in order for us to make a proper change, you and I all have to do it to the best of our abilities. Right? And I'm getting tired of all this division. I'm getting tired of people who are vaccinated against people who are not vaccinated. We don't need that. Okay? And contrary to what the MSM has said, and contrary to what these leaders have said too, people protesting are not anti-vaxxers. They're not far right. They're Canadian people that are fed up with the bullshit, and they're fed up with the status quo mentality. They're disappointed with the premiers who keep locking things down, who are enforcing the passports and enforcing this, enforcing that, and it's turning into a totalitarian shit show. So I encourage all the people out there that are protesting and fighting against the ridiculous mandates, keep on doing it, keep on fighting the good fight, and keep standing your ground. Okay? It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's that shit simple. And here's a word to some possible employers or employers out there that are enforcing this mandate. Okay. Smarten the F up. Okay. It's not your business to know what goes in people's bodies. And I don't care what mandate comes from this office or this human resource sector or that sector or this guy or that gal. I don't care. We've all felt the sting of this pandemic. It's hurt a lot of people. It's bankrupt people. It's even killed some people beyond the actual virus itself. The opioid crisis has gone through the roof. Suicides have gone through the roof. And still, you think you need to enforce these mandates in the name of safety, when you and I both know it's a matter of control and compliance. Okay? And to all those businesses out there that have screwed me over the past year and a half, okay, I'm tired of being nice myself. Okay? Another thing that taught me in this election is how to stand up for what's right and look people in the eye and tell them what you think. So to all those employers out there that have to be listening to this, who had me in their employ, who just dismissed me because of safety or company mandates, up yours. All right? I encourage you, my audience, my listeners, okay, send me an email. I want you to tell me your story. I want you to tell me if you have been laid off, fired, or disciplined because of your stance on these ridiculous mandates. Let me know. And with your permission, of course, I will mention said company or said franchise or said store or wherever you worked. I will mention how they treated you on your behalf if you'd like me to, right? And I will start with my experiences too. So in the next episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast, I'll make a point of mentioning said companies and said employers that have treated their staff like absolute garbage in the name of these mandates. So to my fans and listeners out there, let me know exactly what's going on if you want to. Send me an email. Tell me your experience. Try to keep it brief, but keep it honest and real. And I'll mention these companies for you. Let's expose these individuals for what they are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it right here in the Crusty Canuck podcast. I will do that for you, and I'll make it harder for these employers to screw you around. All right. Anyhow, this is the end of episode 149, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you again to people I ran with in the federal election and to my lovely constituents and backers and supporters. Thank you once again for the kind emails and messages that you have sent me, and especially the support you've given to me and my wife during these trying times. Thank you once again. To my friends and family that send me words of encouragement and positive reinforcement, thank you again, everybody. Lots of love. All right. And I want to thank you, my listeners and my fans alike who have stuck around all this time. Right. So if you're watching this premiere tonight, please send a kind word or two and donate if you can. Like I say, we're all hurting here. But if you have a few extra bucks, please don't hesitate to donate. Not like I'm not working for it, ladies and gentlemen. So, but like I say, do what you can to help each other out in these trying times, ladies and gentlemen. And please pay attention to my pages for updates and what have you. Like I said, I'm going to try to get some key politicians on my next live streams if I can. But like I say, just pay attention to my update pages on YouTube and Facebook, respectively. And I'll keep you informed to the best of my ability and what's coming up on the Crusty Canuck podcast in the near future. So like I say, it's good to be back, getting the roll on again and getting the words out there for all you, my wonderful fans and listeners alike. You guys are awesome. Pat yourselves on the back and thank you for sticking around all this time, making this podcast what it is. All right. Without you, I don't know where I would be, guys. So, but please consider donating today and take advantage of the mug and t-shirt offer too. Links will be in the description as per. But like I say, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 23rd of September, 2021. And do what you can to help each other out to the best of your ability in these trying times. And like I say, ladies and gentlemen, Humanity merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.